Have all the activities of the past weeks in Selma come to fruition now? Is this the grand climax?
I would say this and its culmination in the march on the Capitol on Thursday.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. back in 1965 being interviewed by our Bill Plante covering the civil rights movement. Bill has brought us a new story that has roots in that era about a father's legacy of racial hatred and a daughter's personal march toward redemption.
Segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
At his inauguration in 1963, Alabama Governor George Wallace personified racist defiance of civil rights. 6 months later, he blocked the doors of the University of Alabama to prevent integration. His daughter Peggy was 13 at the time.
The problems and the challenges that came with being the daughter of the governor who stood in the schoolhouse door to block 2 African Americans from going to school was very, very difficult.
Well, when you were younger, did you think his earlier positions were wrong?
My mother kept us very, very sheltered. So there were a lot of things that we didn't really know about, and so we weren't able to really think about them or have an opinion.
Peggy Wallace married and raised 2 sons in Alabama, rarely speaking about her father, until she watched America elect its first black president.
All of a sudden, I just found my voice, and I said, I need to do something with this voice.
She decided she would start on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, a place where 48 years ago this week, her father ordered police to brutally attack civil rights marchers on what became known as Bloody Sunday. Congressman John Lewis was badly beaten that day in 1965. For the last 5 years, to mark the anniversary, Peggy Wallace Kennedy has walked with Lewis across the Pettus Bridge.
I told him, I said, I've crossed many bridges in my life, and I'll cross many, many more. But the most important bridge I'll ever cross in my life is the one I crossed with you in 2009.
She's writing a book about the impact of her father's politics on his family, and speaking to students and others about her personal journey.
Today, I rise to condemn the politics of exclusion that runs rampant in America.
It has to be difficult for someone who was in your position to have come to the place you've come. Was it?
Yes, it has. Received a lot of criticism, a lot of hurtful criticism, but I just moved on, and I just like for my children to not remember where my father stood, but where I am standing now.
Now seeking a legacy of tolerance and inclusion to replace the bigotry that was her inheritance. Bill Plante, CBS News, Montgomery, Alabama.